Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een amma ba'd. Happy Ramadan, welcome to Ramadan everybody. My name is Brother Rami, and today I'm going to give you a very brief summary of one of the forgotten sunnahs of the Prophet ﷺ, one that's not talked about that much, and that is the power of smiling, the sunnah of smiling. And the Prophet ﷺ was the most prolific smiler in his time, so much so that the Sahaba, they said, ما رأيت أحدا أكثر تبسما من النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. I never saw anybody, this is in the hadith, I never saw anybody who smiled more than the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So today, very briefly, why should we revive this sunnah of smiling? Number one, because it is a sunnah. Number two, because it's going to make you healthier and give you a happier life. And number three, because it's actually going to allow you to do charity. So number one, the Prophet ﷺ, as I mentioned, always had a great smile. I mean, I want you to imagine taking a time machine back to the time of Medina, and you go up and you knock on the door of the Prophet ﷺ, and he sees you. What do you think? What do you imagine that you would see? I would imagine that I see the Prophet ﷺ smiling, a big smile, and just that face. That is what I imagine the Prophet ﷺ. And that is one of the sunnahs that I feel if everybody did that sunnah, we'd all be much happier. I want you to imagine you walk into the masjid, you walk into your work, you walk into any place you go, and you see everybody with a big smile. Think of how great everybody would feel. And that's how the Prophet ﷺ made others feel. Sometimes I've seen people who, I used to see them smiling all the time, and then they become more religious, or they learn more about the deen. And then all of a sudden they become frowny and angry all the time. And I think, subhanAllah, there's nobody more religious than our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. He is the most religious out of all of us. And that religiosity translated into him being happy and smiling. So that is a reason, is the sunnah. It is the sunnah to smile. Number two, smiling will actually make you healthier and make you live longer. If you don't believe me, there's a TED Talk out there, look it up, The Power of Smiling. And he talks about many of the different scientific studies that they did. And one of them, for example, they took baseball cards from long time ago. And they looked at the baseball cards and saw how long did these players live. And they found that, on average, the difference between somebody who had a no smile, so like this, and the difference between somebody who had a medium smile, like this, was a few years extra. Not just that, between the person who had no smile and the person who had a beaming smile in their picture was even greater than that, something like 7, 8 years or 9 years longer, just because of this. Or maybe that's not the only reason, but they found it on average. And subhanAllah, like if you look at somebody's picture and you see their picture and they're smiling, automatically you just get a good feeling. He even said that on that talk that, a smile in somebody's face is like, I don't know how many times of a chocolate, eating chocolate, that good feeling that you get, smiling is much, much greater than that, physiologically. And subhanAllah, the third reason, like I said, is that smiling in your brother's face or your sister's face is actually a charity. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, وَتَبَسُّمْ فَوَجْهِ أَخِيكَ صَدَقَةٌ, that smiling in the face of your Muslim brother, even your non-Muslim brother, it's like a charity for them. I mean, think about it, subhanAllah, if you wanted to give charity, if you're a student and you don't have much money, or you got laid off and you don't have much money, whatever reason, you just want to give charity, but you don't have the means, all you have to do is smile. Smile at everybody you see, and you'll just be racking up all of this charity. So again, I just want to remind us, inshallah, in this Ramadan, one of the forgotten sunnahs of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that is the power of smiling. Jazakallah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.